Next at 10, the UH Warriors still undefeated and now WAC champions after an amazing win over Boise State. And there are major kudos for Colt.
Colt Brennan's the best football player in America.
And when was the last time you saw this at Aloha Stadium? Even Honolulu's mayor ran onto the field. We'll have the post-game party with the fans and the team.
And what's up with the heavy rain on Oahu and Maui? Guy has your weekend weather update.
And now, from their first outright WAC championship.
The nation was watching, and a sold-out crowd turned up for a shot at sitting in on history. Hawaii took on the only other undefeated team in the WAC with a championship on the line. Boise was first to strike, but with the Warriors' first touchdown, Colt Brennan made history.
And UH never looked back. After 4 quarters of battle, the game ended with a simple snap. June Jones getting soaked by his squad, and fans hitting the field at Aloha Stadium. Tonight, Hawaii is celebrating with a simple message.
Congratulations. The University of Hawaii Warriors, for the first time in the history of the program, are outright WAC champions.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm Keahi Tucker.
And I'm Kim Janala. It is a night for the history books.
And a night that could change the Warriors' future. Before the clock had even run out, fans were on their way to rush the field, and the sports world was buzzing about bowl game possibilities. Let's get right to it with the highlights. Hawaii started off its championship quest in record fashion. Colt Brennan aired out his first TD pass in the first to Ryan Grice-Mullen. It was his 122nd career touchdown pass, which is a new NCAA record. But Colt was far from done. UH led at the half 19-17. In the third quarter, Boise State got back in the game. Taylor Tharp with a quick strike as the Broncos got in the end zone. Then Hawaii not done on national TV. Brennan shined throughout the game. In his return from injury, he threw 495 yards and 5 touchdowns. His final touchdown pass went to C.J. Hawthorne in the third for a 39-27 lead, which became the final score. Hawaii finished the WAC season 8-0 with the conference crown.
This was, of course, the loudest you saw it, rowdiest crowd ever. 50,000 fans, the vast majority wearing UH green or black, fired up before the game, and they went nuts after the game. When it was over, they rushed the field. Police made a few arrests, but their priority was protecting the goalposts and keeping the crowd from tearing them down. In all, still a somewhat restrained celebration on the field. Now, as we've told you before, next week's game versus Washington is already sold out. If the Warriors win that game, here's what still needs to happen for us to get a BCS bowl game. The most logical thing would be that the Warriors need to finish in the top 12 of the BCS rankings. Right now, the Warriors are ranked 15th and will most likely move up when the new rankings come out on Sunday. Here's where it gets tricky. The Warriors can also work their way into one of the BCS games if they go undefeated and rank somewhere in the top 16. However, UH would need to be ranked higher than a champion of a conference that has an annual automatic berth in one of the games.
And now on to the mass exit tonight as 50,000 people head home after the game. Here's what it looked like just after 8 o'clock tonight outside the stadium parking lot. A slow and orderly exit. Some fans told us traffic was actually better than other games because security was prepared for the big crowds. But others did run into trouble earlier today. At one point, there was a 2-hour waiting line just to get into the stadium parking lot. KGMB9's Tim Sakahara has the story.
Before anyone saw any green on the field, they saw a lot of red on the roads. Red as in brake lights. Cars were literally stopped on the freeways around the stadium.
We're waiting in line from 10 o'clock, and we cannot get in. Terrible!
Officers directed traffic, but it didn't seem to do much good this morning.
Oh, it was a long trip. I started out at Ward Center. I was driving my moped okay, came up Salt Lake Boulevard, it just knocked off and died.
Even walking his moped, he still made better time than the cars.
I think there's a bus several hundred yards up there. I would have been right in that area still.
Impatient drivers had their own tactics to beat traffic, namely cutting in line.
When you're driving down, you see it a long line, and you go all the way in the front and you cut in. The local people, they, let you in.
Is that what you did?
Oh, of course.
He didn't feel bad that it put other honest drivers behind.
We were right at the top of this hill right here, but see everybody merging in, it took about 2 hours.
Boise State fans were also on the same playing field when it came to traffic.
It was pretty much stopped most of the time. Stop, move like 4 feet, stop somewhere.
By about 12:15, the parking lots around the stadium filled up, about an hour earlier than expected. People used alternate lots that were a little farther away, then walked to the stadium. And by 2 o'clock, the traffic around the stadium was virtually gone. The only thing left to do was have some fun. Tim Sakahara, KGMB 9 News.
And some of those highlights I was talking about didn't quite match up. We're going to have that tape for you later in the show.